Hello, this is my Land Rover LR3, and I've been getting a lot of questions lately about how I was able to get these particular wheels to fit on a Land Rover. And the reason that's a question is because the wheels that are on it are not Land Rover rims. They're actually BMWs. Specifically, they're a BMW 162, and BMWs and Land Rovers, well, they share a lot of parts actually. Wheels don't match. So this video is about how I did it. And specifically, this one's dedicated to Sark Mountain Goat. And so let's get into how I was able to make BMW 162s fit on an LR3. Okay, so first a little bit of information on the rims, right? So as for these rims that I decided to put on the LR, first thing to note is they aren't Land Rover rims. They are not even aftermarket Land Rover rims. They are actually an OEM rim from a BMW. And there's a lot of things that you have to, of course, consider when you're going to pick a rim to put on your car. And those could include, the bolt pattern, the offset, all sorts of stuff, right? I'm not going to get into those factors so much today. That's gone over in lots of different places. This is just about after you pick the rim you actually want that makes sense, how do you actually fit it on here? And I mean specifically BMW to Land Rover. Because one of the things straight off is that BMWs, by and large, do have the same bolt pattern as the Land Rover in this era. This one's a 2007, but the LR3 was made for a good long while. And that bolt pattern means that, we can take these 5 off, pull it off, and it'll actually fit over those same 5. But once you do that, you are going to have a couple problems. Okay, so I've got these 162s, and I really thought they would look good on the Rover, and I still do. I still like them. But getting a BMW rim to fit to a Land Rover has a couple of idiosyncrasies, some unique elements. And for that, it really comes down to us not so much talking about the rim, but talking about lug nuts. So get ready for some detail on lug nuts, because that's how you will be able to fit almost any BMW rim to a Land Rover. So see this? It probably looks familiar. This is a lug nut. This is a lug nut to put it on your car. It's pretty basic, right? This one is actually a tuner nut that I picked for I had a Dodge RT, and this was this was for my Nissan 240SX way back when. So these are Nissan lugs. This is what I think about when I think about lug nuts. Now, what does a Land Rover lug nut look like? Bam, it's over here. It is huge. It is huge in a couple ways. One, it's just massively bigger, okay? Lots of stuff on the Rover is bigger. But two, it has a washer on it that's on there, and it has another integrated shoulder on it. But the big thing is this diameter right here, this shaft right here. If you look at, say, the Nissan, it's just skinny. That thing's really, really, really fat. And this is because the way that the Rover lug nut works is actually different from the way, our Nissan lug nut works. Okay, I'm gonna come back to this, but let me show you. Okay, let me show you a little bit of the difference between the two rims. Over here is the stock 18-inch Land Rover rim that came on my LR3. Right here, BMW rim 18 that came on my Z4. They both have a 5x120 bolt pattern. They both have similar center bores, and they both can be bolted on to Land Rovers. So, but really quick, let me just show you what would happen if you use a regular bolt here. Ta-da! It's gonna hold it on. Use a regular bolt on a Land Rover, not gonna happen. Okay, so as I mentioned, getting a BMW rim to fit on the Rover, here we are at the Rover, it comes down to lug nuts. I took off one of my lugs here to show you. You got your stud in there. Look, it's real simple. All you have to do is bolt this down, and you're like, well, I got the Land Rover lug nuts right here. I'll just bolt it right on. Ta-da! So Anyhow, so let's put it on. Doing it very gently because I don't want to gouge my rims. Okay, this is what you get. The Land Rover lug nut is so big, it can't fit inside the hole to get to the lug. I got like 1.5 threads on here. You can see me wiggle this. It doesn't fit, and nor is it even. It doesn't shoulder to the rim, or maybe you can consider it, but this would snap. It would not hold your wheel on, even if you could get it on there. When I did it on the Range Rover with the Z4 rims, I couldn't even get it to fit on here until I hammered the rim on. Okay, so that's the problem. You're like, okay, well, I'll just bolt my Land Rover lug nuts on there and I'll be done. And you're like, oh wait, crap, it doesn't work. So now what are you gonna do? Well, my next thought was that I'll just, well, lug Rover nuts don't work. I'll go get BMW nuts and I'll just put the BMW nuts on there because they go in there and they're probably the same pitch and depth, right? So I'll give that a try. Let me grab that for you and we'll see what happens. Okay, so for those of you that haven't seen BMW lug nuts, this might be a surprise. Here it is. Ta-da! This is a BMW lug nut. BMWs don't use lug nuts. They use studs or bolts. So if I take this, and this is off of my BMW Z4, and said, hey, I'll just bolt it to my, okay, there's a problem, right? It's not even a bolt. Okay, so you can't use the BMW bolts to bolt on your BMW rims. And you can't use the Land Rover lug nut to bolt on your BMW rims. So what are you gonna use? If you can't use Beamer and you can't use Rover, and you're trying to bolt a Beamer to a Rover, what are you gonna use? A magical third bolt. Let me show it to you. Okay, this is it. This is the bolt. So after doing some research about what is the diameter and thread pitch on the Rover, as well as what is the diameter and cone shape of the rim I'm trying to put on the BMW, how am I gonna do that BMW setup? I was able to find this one. So what this is a very standard, nothing too special about it, looks like a lug nut, but it is a 14 by 1.5. So the 14 is the diameter, the 1.5 is the pitch. Both of those are important, and I'd have to actually go back and check to see what the length is, because you have to have something long enough to actually bolt on. But with this particular nut, you can now, oh, and yeah, see the cone shape here? So it has a cone shape like the BMW. So it's coned, like a coned acorn. It's not a round, because there's round and there's straight and there's flat. These ones are coned. So coned 14, 1.5, and that enables you to then bolt up BMW rims to your Land Rover. And that will work on any, any's a big word, but that'll work on most all BMW rims, so long as you have the correct center bore. Double check that. But as long as the center bore of your tire is the same as your Land Rover rim, you should be able to bolt those right on with these particular lug nuts. And I'll post in the description below, I will post the actual bolts I use. That way, if you wanted to get some 162s, or maybe you wanted to bolt on the Z4 rim, whatever. If you saw some BMW stuff that looked good, that you want to throw on an LR, you'll have the option to do so. And the second thing for me is bolting on BMW stuff onto the LR. There's already a ton of BMW parts on it, since BMW helped build it, but it also is generally cheaper than a Land Rover part. So needless to say, my 162s cost a fraction of what my last Land Rover set of rims cost. But I hope this helps.